For the math lesson today, you just need your big math book and a pencil. And then, so if you don't have that, remember you can pause this and then you can come back. So it's page 399. There's a little bit I want to read together on there. And then you'll also be looking at the next page, which you'll be doing a homework assignment for me. So this is what page 399 looks like. It says line symmetry at the top. And we talked about this a little bit, not too much. This is actually going to be a pretty quick lesson because I think that some of you will get the hang of this pretty quick. I'm going to read this paragraph, these two paragraphs at the top for you. I want you to follow along as I read. So it says, one type of symmetry, and we'll talk about that word means in a minute. One type of symmetry found in geometric shapes is line symmetry. This sign is in the hills above Hollywood, California. Do the letters in the Hollywood sign show line symmetry? So they're referring to this. But let me continue to read this and then we'll get back to that. It says a shape has line symmetry if it can be folded about a line so that its two parts match exactly. A fold line, or a line of symmetry, divides a shape into two parts that are the same size and same shape. So line symmetry, or a shape that has symmetry, just means it's the same exactly on both sides. So you could fold something in half and open it up. And if it's the same on both sides, it has line symmetry. So take a look. Now they were talking about these letters here. Take a look at the H. So I'm going to draw a line on my paper and I'm hoping that you can see it. If I draw a line going up and down from this H, and I fold it in half where that line is, would both sides be the same? They would be. I can also draw a line of symmetry another way on that H. If I do it going across, I'm trying to do it dark so you can see it. If I do it going across and then I fold that where that line is, wouldn't both sides be the same? So that means that the shape is symmetrical or has a line of symmetry. Look at these other letters in the word Hollywood. Do you see any other letters that would have lines of symmetry or would be symmetrical? So take a look for a minute. Look at the O. Actually, there's three O's. Look at the O. So if I make a line going up and down, if I folded it where that line was, wouldn't those be the same on both sides? That's symmetrical, or they have symmetry. The L's don't really work in this case, so the L's would not be symmetrical, but the Y would. The Y, again, you can make a line going up and down, and if I were able to fold that, it would be the same on both sides. Same with the W, going up and down. The O's, again, up and down and across. So a lot of the letters of the alphabet are symmetrical. They're the same on both sides. I have a couple examples that I'm going to show you. So look at this heart. Now it's easier when I have this smaller piece of paper. If I were to fold this in half, both sides would be the same. So I'm going to make a mark here. It's not perfect, but you can see my line there. Both sides are the same. Now they're not exactly the same, but they're pretty close. And these are both symmetrical. So this shape would have symmetry. Now I showed you before when we looked at this picture that some shapes or some letters have two lines of symmetry, like the H. You could draw a line going up and down and fold it in half and both would be the same. Or you could fold a line going across and both would be the same. Some shapes and letters are like that, but not all of them. Like for example, look at this heart. This is a line of symmetry, but now I'm going to do a dashed line just so that you can kind of see the difference. If I go across now, is that a line of symmetry? Is the top part exactly the same as the bottom? If I folded it in half, would the two line up? The answer is no. So this one only has one line of symmetry, whereas the H has two, the O has two. You could fold them two different ways, and the top and bottom or side to side would both show lines of symmetry. This one has one, but some of them have more than one. The next one, I have another letter, an E. Do you see any lines of symmetry here? What about right here, where I drew the pencil mark? If I were to fold this shape, or this letter, I should say, wouldn't the top be exactly the same as the bottom? That means it has a line of symmetry. It has one line of symmetry, because it wouldn't work if I did it this way, because those two sides wouldn't be the same. Last thing I want to show you is a rectangle. A rectangle has more than one line of symmetry. Picture if you do a line going vertical, so up and down, these two sides are the same. And then what if I do a horizontal line? So a line going across, these two would be the same. So symmetrical shape, or lines of symmetry, just means would I be able to fold that object, or two things exactly the same? Now, a lot of times we say that people are symmetrical. If you draw a line down your body, I mean, your hands, you have hands on both sides, you have two eyes, you have two ears, so you kind of are symmetrical. Now you might say, well, one foot's bigger than the other, or my hair, like my hair's parted differently, but overall, we're symmetrical. And you'll notice there's a lot of shapes, a lot of letters that I talked about before that have lines of symmetry. Now, what I want you to do then is turn the page. So you're on page 401, and this is what you're going to be doing for an assignment for me. So you have two choices like you always do. You can write it right here and have your parents send me a picture of it. Or in the email, you can just respond and then you can just email me back. So I'm going to look at the directions at the top. It says, tell whether the parts on each side of the line match. Is the line a line of symmetry? Write yes or no. Now I want to explain this to you because it's asking you, look where they drew the line for each of those objects, those blue lines. Where they drew the blue lines, could you fold in half and both sides are the same if you fold it? Because number one's a little bit tricky, because I talked about how a rectangle is symmetrical. It does have two lines of symmetry, but take a look where they drew that line there. They didn't draw it up and down. They didn't draw it across. They drew it on an angle. You might look and say like, oh yeah, this triangle here, that's the same size as this. But I want you to kind of visualize, I know it's kind of hard, but if I were to get my paper, and you can do this if it helps you, you can rip it out and do it. And if I were to fold my paper right on that blue line, would those two match up perfectly? Kind of like how my heart was. This is my line. And if I fold it right at that line, I'm going to know that my heart matches up perfectly. But would this one? So you can try it if you want, if that helps you. You're just going to respond by saying yes or no. That's why I said this will go pretty quick. Look at number 2. If I fold this right on the blue line, will both sides be the same? Yes or no? So that's what you're doing for 1 through 4, and actually the same thing 5 through 8. So again, here's your line. If you fold it, will both of them be the same? Then I would like you also to do 9 through 12. So tell if the blue line appears to be a line of symmetry. You're writing yes or no. So if you fold this on that line, is that symmetrical, yes or no? You don't have to do anything on the bottom here. You can, if you want, you can finish those shapes. It's just going to be hard for you to respond in an email unless you take a picture of it. But on here, I want you to do 1 through 12, and then you're going to send it to me. Thank you.